Life in Motion. Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E Life in Motion. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust. Serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson Navigation, serving Guam and Micronesia for 20 years. Cars Plus, Dodge Challenger, the undisputed champion. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedito. Always open, always local.
If you can get drugs into the Department of Corrections, then you can get drugs anywhere else.
New charges filed against the inmates involved in a major prison contraband investigation. Nick Delgado shows you how this could lead to more officers being arrested. Plus, a former GPD cop convicted in the killing of his fellow officer is court-ordered to pay the victim's family. And a man accused of killing his mother gets a second chance at having a new set of jurors hear his case.
Good evening, everybody, and Hafaday if you're watching us live on KUM TV or streaming us on Facebook Live or joining us behind the scenes on Instagram Live. We're so glad you tuned in tonight because cellular phones, drugs, and inmates placed on lockdown, all that unfolded out of the Department of Corrections Maximum Security Unit over the Labor Day weekend.
Now 2 inmates charged in that elaborate scheme to smuggle contraband into the prison face additional criminal charges. As KUAM's Nick Delgado reports, this now opens up a further investigation that could lead to more corrections officers being arrested.
Caught with contraband.
The individuals that bring in these drugs vary, and they include everybody who walks into the institution.
On Saturday, a shakedown at the Post 6 prison cells of inmates Sean Paul Johnson and Bruno Frankie Simmons turned out with a positive find. Officers locating cell phones and a small amount of the drug ice. And Lamorena says it's the data inside those cell phones confiscated that could lead them to those responsible.
That's why it's surprising is that, normally individuals would stay low for a while. And it's quite obvious whoever's bringing it in is paying substantial amounts of money.
This latest find now has DOC investigators looking at their logbooks to determine whether or not their officers are once again involved.
It's a concern to us. I mean, they're both in Post 6, in separate wings of Post 6. And so, again, we just had a shakedown there not too long ago. And to find contraband just a few days later.
Johnson and Simmons were rearrested and booked at the Agana precinct today. The pair now face new charges of promoting prison contraband. Simmons faces an additional charge of possession of a Schedule II controlled substance. As we reported, these inmates are also being charged for their alleged part in last month's major prison contraband investigation. That investigation resulted in the arrest of several DEPCOR officers. Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio says there's more work ahead for investigators.
That doesn't mean the drug flow stops. As a matter of fact, there's other people that may be involved in the process. We can't lead to some kind of illusion that we arrest a couple of guys and a couple of employees and we're going to dry it up.
GPD is investigating, and DEPCOR says a new internal affairs investigation into this latest contraband find is underway as well. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Nick Delgado.
While the agency's maximum security unit remains on lockdown, you can watch Nick's live coverage and full interview with Lieutenant Governor Tenorio right now on Facebook.
And the smuggling and use of illicit drugs on our island has Public Safety Chair Senator Talina Nelson and Lieutenant Governor Tenorio working on legislation to keep all GovGuam employees on their toes. Nelson says the measure would put in place mandatory drug tests at all government agencies. It would be done every single year and at random.
If you don't know when the testing is, it's a deterrent and also an encouragement to stay clean. I believe we had a lot of issues, with drug use on our island, substance abuse, and this is also one way to be proactive.
She adds the bill, which is still being drafted, would designate operational funding to pay for the drug tests.
Former Guam police officer Mark Torrey Jr. will only be required to pay $5,000 in restitution to the family of Albert Piolo. In a decision and order signed today in court, the court determined it was not the proper forum to make a determination regarding future economic earnings and losses. The Piolo family asked for $1.8 million for Piolo's lost wages as a GPD officer because the Criminal Injuries Compensation Commission previously compensated the victims' families for $10,000 Troy Jr. only has to pay the balance for out-of-pocket funeral expenses and catering. Though defense objected to paying for catering, the court ruled that it's, quote, ingrained in our society's culture with respect to funeral services, end quote. Earlier this year, Troy Jr. was convicted of negligent homicide for the shooting death of Piolo back in 2015.
Jury selection kicked off today for accused murderer Alan Agababa. His first trial 2 years ago rendered a deadlocked jury and a mistrial was declared. Now, given the chance for a new trial, Agababa could lose his key expert, forensic pathologist Dr. Joseph Cohen.
It's our next report with Crystal Paco.
He's testified once before on behalf of defense in the trial against accused murderer Alan Agababa.
Based on what I see, I would go undetermined with the manner of death. Admitting that I couldn't tell the difference between a homicide and an accident. Based on what I've seen.
His name is Dr. Joseph Cohen, a forensic pathologist based out of California. According to KUAM files, Dr. Cohen, via Skype, disagreed with the government's expert witness on how Shelley Bernstein died.
I find it peculiar that a single impact to the head is connected to this type of homicide scenario.
While Guam's chief medical examiner, Dr. Aurelio Espinola, determined Bernstein died from blunt force trauma to the head and the manner of death a homicide, Dr. Cohen concluded she died from acute combined prescription drug intoxication and blunt impact to the head with scalp injury and hemorrhage. As for the manner of death, Dr. Cohen doesn't agree it was a homicide, but instead testified it was undetermined, proposing an accidental fall. Because Bernstein used prescription steroids, which over time soften bones, it wouldn't take much force to damage her skull. But will Cohen return for Agababa's defense in the upcoming retrial? Not if the government's motion to suppress Cohen's testimony, which was filed late last week, is granted by the court. For the upcoming trial, Agababa can't afford Cohen's services and may resort to using transcript, video, or an audio replay of Cohen's past testimony. The government argues the admission of such testimony would be hearsay, as they wouldn't be able to engage in cross-examination beyond what was conducted in the past trial. Quote, Dr. Cohen's research and testimony into this case was purchased by defendant, end quote. The government further argues, quote, defendant has failed to show that he was unable to procure an expert of similar qualifications, despite receiving an award which the court deemed appropriate of indigent funds for that explicit purpose. Further, defendant has not shown that Dr. Cohen's testimony is unique and could not be reproduced by another pathologist or similar expert, end quote. Agababa, as we reported, is accused of killing his mother to collect her death benefits. KUAM files show no murder weapon was ever recovered. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.
Now, if the man's name sounds familiar, Dr. Joseph Cohen is the same forensic pathologist hired by defense in the Mark Torrey trial earlier this year. Well, in other island news headlines, the man pulled from Ipan waters early this morning has passed away. We previously reported that the 61-year-old man has been net fishing with another family member just off Jeff's Pirates Cove in the southern village of Talafofo. The man's identity has yet to be released. An autopsy is scheduled for Wednesday.
100 victims of clergy sex abuse and counting. 65-year-old VF filed in the District Court of Guam when he was 11 or 12 years old. Court documents state he was sexually molested as a Boy Scout by Edward Pereira, a scout leader for the Mingilao troop. Pereira allegedly locked the boy in the rectory, pushed him onto the bed, and started kissing and touching his private parts. In separate incidents involving Father Louis Brulard, VF alleges the priest raped him and took naked pictures of him that were kept in a shoebox. Also filed in the Superior Court of Guam, 59-year-old TP alleges he too was molested by Father Brulard. After Mass, while changing, he alleges the priest grabbed his genitals, pulled his pants down, and then fondled him. VF and TP civil suits come at the same time. Parties in the clergy sex abuse claims are meeting in Hawaii to discuss mediation protocol with chosen mediator, Oregon-based retired federal judge Michael Hogan. Once protocol is set, a majority of the parties are anticipated to head into settlement talks. The only exception is Archbishop Anthony Apron, whose case moves forward in the federal courts.
Well, a new priest has joined the ranks of those accused as 43-year-old RRC alleges that when he was an altar boy, when he was sexually abused by Father Louis William Rink, who has since passed on. Among the named defendants is the Congregation of Holy Cross, who assigned Rink to serve on Guam. The alleged abuse occurred in 1983 or 1984 when RRC was an altar boy at Santa Barbara Catholic Church up in Derido. While in the sacristy, the priest asked the boy where they kept the altar supplies and equipment. That's when Rink allegedly grabbed the boy's private parts and winked at him. Rink told the boy, quote, "No one needs to know," and said that one of the 10 commandments is, quote, "Thou shalt honor your mother and father," stating that that includes a priest. RRC reportedly told Monsignor Ziolo Camacho when Rink had done, but Ziolo had told the boy to keep praying and to ask for forgiveness.
Stay tuned. We've got a lot more news after the break. Dear.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming of KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
When we face an uncertain path, when we struggle with life's challenges, and when the unexpected happens, it's a beautiful day. We rely on the people we trust, it's a beautiful, who we can always count on. Beautiful day. And to the ones who give us the most care throughout the years. Rely on Calvo's Select Care to give you the comfort and security you need wherever you are. Calvo's Select Care, health care that's always there for you.
Activate a new account at IT&E and get double data on the network that gives you more.
It's Hyundai's Kickoff the Savings event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Score big, save big with the all-new redesigned Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. Gain those extra yards with up to 45 miles per gallon highway and an introductory savings of $4,500. Or check out Guam's best offensive line, like a new Accent starting at $11,995, or the new Elantra starting at $16,995. How about the new Tucson starting at $19,995? Plus, every new Hyundai gets Guam's best warranty. It's Hyundai's Kickoff the Savings event at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
At Shell, it's about offering more than just fuel. It's about providing service to people. From hot coffees to warm welcomes, from clean bathrooms to fresh food, we're on a mission to make you leave happier than when you arrived. So whatever your journey, we're here. Welcome to service. Welcome to Shell. Serving the islands for over 30 years. Share your story at Shell Foodies Guam on Instagram and Facebook. Hashtag Station Stories, hashtag Shell Guam.
Connect with KUAM News. Find us on your favorite social media platform. Follow us and stay in the know with Guam's news leader.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. The Guam Power Authority's 120 megawatt solar power contract has been challenged by a losing bidder. Shanghai Power has filed a procurement appeal with the public auditor seeking a rebid of the award. Nestor Lecanto reports.
Shanghai Power's main argument is that GPA changed its specifications after the bids were opened, basically doubling the procurement from 60 megawatts to 120. But GPA counters that there was never a limit to the number of bids for each solar site, which were to be in 30 megawatt increments. Korea-based companies Hanwha and KEPCO were awarded 2 solar plants each of 30 megawatts for the total of 120. Consolidated Commission on Utilities Chairman Joey Duenas.
I think they misread some of our bid specifications. And I'd like to tell you that the bids that came in, the prices were 6.5 cents. This is public record for one, with energy storage, and 8.5 cents for the other. Shanghai, that other corporation, bid 12.5. I mean, Their price was just too high.
Duenas expressed frustration with what he calls frivolous protests. He'd even like to see a law passed that requires protesters to put up extra bond money.
You give it to the agency you're protesting, and they get to hold it. And if you lose your protest, you lose that money. Because other than that, right now, people protest, they lose nothing. They have no skin in the game.
GPA says if the OPA denies the protest, it can proceed immediately with awarding the bids, even if the protester files suit. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Back here.
And while more and more renewable energy is being added to the power grid, CCU Chairman Duenas says GPA is still far from relying primarily on solar.
Renewable energy is not yet ready for 24/7. It's not yet.
CJ Mesa says hi.
It's not yet reliable, robust enough, and economical enough.
In a speech for the Rotary Club, Duenas gave an update on the island-wide power system, including plans for new generation. GPA is back on track to build a new 180 megawatts of much-needed additional capacity.
We don't know the configuration yet. We don't know the exact sizing and everything. We're working on that right now. And we've got a green light from the PUC.
We're on Facebook Live.
The new power plant will replace the aging Cabras 1 and 2 baseload generators, which are more than 50 years old. It will also replace the Cabras 3 and 4 units, which were essentially knocked out of service by an explosion and fire 2 years ago.
Well, in other news tonight, it's the end of the road for high school seniors entering the workforce or heading off to college. But with tuition always rising and financial constraints a constant issue, the Guam Department of Education kicked off a fair Tuesday morning to help students realize how they can plan ahead to make their college dreams a reality. Isabaza explains in our next report.
It's the #1 issue preventing students from seeking a college education.
The biggest issue that I think students, and just in these workshops, I asked them, almost every hand went up, that finances were the #1 issue for them. How are they going to be able to afford it?
According to the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, college tuition increased in the U.S. by 63% between January 2006 and July of 2016. Meanwhile, tuition at the University of Guam rose 5% in 2016, after increasing for the first time in 5 years in 2015. College Pathway Program Director Leah Beth Nahalawa said the college fair aims to help high school juniors and seniors navigate obstacles preventing them from getting their college degree.
We want to prepare them early. We want them to apply for those scholarships and financial aid early. And we want them to focus on writing those essays so that we can, prepare them as they, look into going to colleges and universities, not just here, but also off-island.
However, roughly half of Guam's public school seniors don't plan to pursue a college education.
So what we've learned in our surveys is that, first of all, we've got about, I would say, maybe 40% of our students who have some type of plan to go to college once they get their diploma. Usually it's UOG that they specify, or Guam Community College, and then you have a small percentage of those who are interested in going to college off island. But we also have about 45% of our students who haven't completed and identified their plan by the time they graduate.
Superintendent John Fernandez said these students may be planning to enter the workforce or may be intimidated by the college application process. Roughly 1,300 public school juniors and seniors are attending the GDOE College Fair at the Hyatt this week. The fair educates students on the admissions process, financial aid, scholarships, and college choices.
And as we give them that information, hopefully they will, not be as intimidated, not be as scared to apply.
We're so lucky to have this program funded by a consolidated Title V grant so that we can continue to do this for our kids.
The 3-day fair ends on Thursday. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Isa Paza.
Representatives of Pratehi Latekzan expressed disappointment after a meeting today with Admiral Shoshana Chatfield. Citing environmental and cultural concerns, the group is seeking to halt construction of a live fire training range near Retidian at Anderson's Northwest Field. In a posting to Patehi's Facebook site, spokesperson Sabina Perez says the admiral has indicated that the firing range project will continue and that all environmental laws and requirements were met. In a statement, the admiral said, quote, "The Navy has worked to address many concerns, including access to the Guam Wildlife Refuge Rotidian Unit and preservation of natural and cultural resources." She said, quote, "It was important to continue open and transparent dialogue." The training range is seen as a key component of the marine relocation to Guam.
Questions of culture, responsibility, and regulations over fishing were concerns all brought to the table in a working session with local fishermen, law enforcement agencies, and local lawmakers.
I am also a traditional fisherman. I want to make that clear also. But I'm also entrusted in a position of government that I must do what is on the books.
The meeting comes weeks after dead fish were spotted at the Hagatni Marina and the controversy among local fishermen who fish at the location. A second meeting will be held tomorrow from 5 to 7:30 at the boat basin by the fishing platform.
To delink or remain with the federal IRS, that was the focus during the Guam Tax Commission's roundtable discussion this morning. Though Guam's tax laws are adopted from the IRS, Senator Joe San Agustin says Guam has the option to adopt and create its own code.
Should we delink, for the benefit of the community, the island? And that's what we're trying to get the answer to. This study has been done for many years, as far back as 20 years. And today, and hopefully with this new tax commission, we can finally answer those questions.
The discussion highlights the potential effect of President Donald Trump's recent tax proposal, which would reduce the corporate tax rate to 15% and also allows small business owners to have their income taxed at 15% as well.
Well, the Guam Police Department has 10 new lieutenants as the group was honored before family and friends in a promotion ceremony Tuesday at Adloop. Police Chief Joseph Cruz says he welcomes the department's new leaders.
No longer are they out there, out on the beat, taking complaints from the citizens. They're more up at the management level, and we're dealing with issues that the community raises. With these new lieutenants, it's a breath of fresh air up at the headquarters because we have more managers, more leaders at that level to be able to move the initiatives of the Guam Police Department forward.
Now, we at KUAM, along with the rest of the island community, welcome and congratulate the 10 new police lieutenants.
We'd also like to welcome home 5 of Guam's sons and daughters of the 368th Military Police Company Detachment 6 Guam Army Reserve. The group arrived Friday in time to enjoy the Labor Day weekend with loved ones. In all, 18 soldiers were deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, also in support of military commissions, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Among the 18 soldiers, 8 were from Guam. The others were cross-leveled into the detachment from Hawaii, California, and Korea.
Please stay tuned, everybody. Sports is coming up next.
From the network that brought you up to 3 times more data comes the dawn of a new data. The epic story of Guam's only network brave enough to give 10 free gigs of bonus data on every line every month to customers who bundle their services. Reviewers are calling the offer totes awesome. Best deal ever. And yes.
Visit GTA.net for details.
A wise man once said that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. You don't always see that 10% coming. When you get hurt or feel the devastation. For over 40 years, Alpha Insurers reacts quickly for you to provide you with peace of mind. Always. Alpha Insurers. Protecting your good things in life.
The Down Syndrome Association of Guam exists to support families of individuals with Down syndrome. We're a group of parents who have children with Down syndrome and know the joys and challenges of raising them. For more information about the health, development, and education of a child or adult with Down syndrome, please contact Vicky Areola at 472-6114.
Chuck E. Cheese's Guam is not all fun and games. Our pizza is delicious with the freshest toppings, oven-baked to order. Try the fresh salad bar, sandwiches, and don't forget our mouth-watering wings. Come and eat at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
Off at 8, Guam, Chris Barnett with sports. Mates, woohoo, Tuesday. Let's kick it off with our favorite Chamorro football player, Zach Banner. Zach Banner is headed to the Cleveland Browns. The last few days have been turbulent for Banner. After making the Indianapolis Colts initial 53-man roster, he was released from the team to make room for players Indianapolis claimed off of waivers. On an Instagram post, Banner said he has been picked up by the Cleveland Browns and called being released by the Colts, quote, a sad day, but expressed excitement at the chance to play in Cleveland and thanked the Colts coaching staff for the opportunity. He was claimed off waivers by the Browns, who placed rookie offensive lineman Rod Johnson on the injured reserve list to make room for Banner on the roster. Now, Banner will have a hand in protecting rookie Browns quarterback Deshaun Kaiser. Banner, known for his big heart, visiting children in the hospital and helping local charities in his short time in Indianapolis. No doubt the Browns were interested in Banner's pass block efficiency rating of 95.7, which put him 6th among rookie offensive tackles. However, his run block grade had him ranked 188th out of 192 offensive tackles in the NFL. Banner, 6'9", 358 pounds, was a 4th-round draft pick out of USC, where he was a 2-time All-American. He signed a 4-year contract worth nearly $3 million with Indianapolis. As of now, according to family members, it appears Cleveland will honor the terms of Banner's contract. Now, Banner, of course, the son of Ron and Vanessa Sokola Banner. IFL football, JFK Islanders hosting the Ukadu Bulldogs. Islanders coming off a loss to FD. Ukadu making their debut after their initial season opener to the G-Dub Geckos was called off due to uniform issues. The Bulldogs trying to get things going offensively. Pass to the slot receiver here. Juan Sarmiento with a tackle on defense. Stop short of the first down. JFK's Justin Camacho with a green light from the linebacker position. Blitzes and meets the running back after getting the handoff. Loss of yards on the play. Ukadu forced to punt. JFK going to the run early to keep the chains moving. Chase Spatansky with a short run. Now Justin Camacho picks up the first down. Nice run to the left-hand side of the line to keep the offense on the field. Camacho, the workhorse, rushing for the green and gold. Running back, Double D, Deontay Delgado went in for the game's first TD. Delgado right up the middle for 6, with teammate Juan Sarmiento kicking the point after. The Islanders went on to take the game big, 32-8 over the Bulldogs. Camacho barely hanging on to the handoff. Looks like he gets tackled on the play, but his knees never touch the ground. No rosary. Camacho spins off the pile, starts making his way towards the end zone. Justin avoiding one last defender on his way into the zone for the score.